You ready?
Good afternoon, Tigers, and welcome to our Winter Coaches Luncheon hosted by the Princeton Varsity Club. We're thrilled to have you guys joining us today and look forward to a great program with a tremendous lineup of student athletes. We are, as we embark here on our spring semester, we are thrilled to have many of our student athletes back with us on campus and training in our Princeton courts, fields, pools, and the like. Certainly can see the energy from some of those opening clips, and we hope that made it real for yourself, and you could kind of embark in some of that excitement of having our Tigers back on campus. I'm Brennan Van Akron, Associate Director of Athletics for the Princeton Varsity Club, and again, excited to be bringing you our program today. We shortly will hear from our Ford Family Director of our Athletics, followed by remarks from a number of our winter head coaches who will share their perspectives on this journey, as well as our first month back on campus. From there, we will transition to having the opportunity to award our winter season PNC Bank Student Athlete Achiever Award recipients. We've got two tremendous recipients and are excited to hear from both of those student athletes, as well as from our partner PNC as part of that portion of the program. And from there, we will close out with a great conversation with three of our other top Tigers. Jen Seacrest, sophomore captain for our women's swimming and diving program, Grace Stone, class of 2023 for women's basketball, and then junior captain Samanga Nilovu of our men's track and field program. All three tremendous leaders for each of their respective teams, all three champions in their time here at Princeton. So really look forward to engaging with each of them. With that, I'd like to pass the baton over to Ford Family Director of Athletics, Molly Marcoux-Samam.
All right. Well, thanks, Brendan. Obviously, I wish we were doing this in person as we normally do. You said, sort of you've been looking forward to this. I have to say, I've been really looking forward to this luncheon. Obviously, we're sorry we couldn't actually serve you that delicious lunch that we normally serve you in the Friends Center, as I'm sure you guys all enjoy it as much as I do. But I'm also hoping that we have some people that normally can't attend these luncheons because they're too far away or that doesn't work with their schedules. Hopefully some of you have tuned in, because they're really quite remarkable events where you get to hear from our amazing coaches and our amazing student athletes and sort of engage with us on a more personal level. And so silver lining is maybe we can have many more people engage in this way. So, I'll start my remarks by obviously sort of stating the obvious. It's obviously been a hard year for Princeton athletics. With the announcement last week that we would not be competing for Ivy championships this spring, we're obviously all feeling a sense of loss, like so many people are during this pandemic. From my personal lens, I'll be honest, I love delivering great news, and I'm sort of love to be positive. And it's been hard to continue to sort of deliver tough news to students and coaches and fans. I think particularly because I just know how meaningful, I think we all know how meaningful the athletics experience is. But, we've all reflected as staff and as students and, how lucky we actually are that we do something that we love so much that when we can't do it, it feels like a loss. But with all that, I'll also say that, we understand we're part of a much broader ecosystem and that we believe firmly, in the integration of athletics and academics and community. We really don't just say it, but we actually live it. And so for the Ivy League and the presidents, that integration and the importance of that integration is so vital. And it's so vital that athletics is viewed through that lens. And for now, for the community, keeping the bubble on campus as tight as possible and being consistent with our policies across all areas of the university is sort of the priority. We're still hopeful that we'll be able to compete in some way, local competition for our spring teams. Obviously, conditions with COVID will continue to have to improve and we'll have to move through our phases. But giving the seniors who are enrolled a chance to wear the orange and black another time would be particularly wonderful if we can achieve that. So acknowledging that disappointment, and now we're doing what we do. We're moving forward, and we're focused on continuing to get better. What we've been talking about a lot, in all of our staff meetings and with our students, is that none of us, and this is not new to all of you, none of us control everything that happens in our orbit, but we certainly, sort of have a choice on how we respond and to the challenges and the obstacles. And I firmly believe, and we talk about that with our performance model, that mindset and perspective drive success. So I wanted to talk just a little bit, specifically about sort of what we're focused on. I think first and foremost, we're focused on controlling the controllables and making this spring the very best that it can possibly be. You're going to hear from our coaches, and they articulate it so beautifully, their excitement on being back and being able to do some athletics activity with their student athletes. We're really focused on gratitude, which we focus on all the time. I've been meeting with our student athletes, particularly around the spring decision, of meeting with coaches, and our students are grateful that they have this opportunity to be back on this campus that they love. They're grateful to be working with their teammates and their coaches. Obviously, many are feeling disappointment, but they're also really reflecting on a sense of gratitude, which we love. From our perspective, from the athletic department, we're doing what we normally do. This is a business of people, and we're focused on how we take care of people inside and outside of our community. How we continue to communicate to our students and our staff and our coaches, and make sure that our students know, how much we truly value them and what they do, and how much we truly value the athletics experience. And then the last thing, or actually two more things, we're going to be really creative through this. We're going to be thoughtful and strategic, and we're going to be fun. We're going to have fun. That's what we do. Don't be surprised if you see some super creative things coming out of us throughout the course of this spring. We're getting our brains together and thinking of ways that we can bring athletics to you guys in some creative ways. And as I said, we're looking forward to creating an even better future and using this opportunity to do that. So that's the next quick thing I'm going to talk about is, in addition to our amazing staff working around the clock to figure out how to get our students back safely and how to do some type of athletics activity during this really strange and difficult time. But we've also been focused on accomplishing some things that we probably wouldn't be able to do in normal times, or as well, at least. First, we launched what we've called the Tigers Together initiative, which is really an intentional and pretty aggressive action plan to continue to create and maintain a culture of inclusivity, of mutual respect, of unity, and to use our platform to combat bias and racism based on, and really to combat bias in all ways based on gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, race, and really all marginalized identities. So this is about making Princeton athletics better for all. And I'm confident that the work that we've done, the work that we will continue to do, will make Princeton athletics better. And we're grateful to have that opportunity. You're going to hear a little bit more about that later today. We've also been having just an unbelievable time celebrating 50 years of women's athletics at Princeton. It's just been such an inspiring exercise to relive so many great moments of the past 50 years, when women have reached heights that they never even imagined possible, where women have shown up for each other in unusual and personal ways, where stereotypes were broken down and individuals were allowed to gain confidence and shine in unexpected and expected ways. For me, I just really love these human stories about the way that athletics changes lives. Really, that's what this has been about. I've been hosting a podcast, and I think everyone who's listened would admit that I should not, focus on that as my long-term career. It's just been so fun interviewing these remarkable women. And so I encourage you guys to follow along and to hear more about our story. The last thing that I'll say, and I won't go on and on about this, but I think people who know me know how critical this is. We've been really intentional on focusing on our culture during this time, who we are, who we want to be moving forward. Our team doesn't like to lose, but we definitely know how to, take a hit and bounce back. We know how to assess a situation and figure out how to make the best of that situation. As I said before, we're focused on growth and getting better. But, I think the other thing that's really come out through this, and it's one of our values, our Be a Tiger values is about teamwork. And I would say we have worked really closely as a team, both within athletics, but also with the larger university. And I'm just so proud of that focus on teamwork. This has been evidenced through lots of different specific ways. Our coaches and our staff stepped up and have helped with the testing clinic every step of the way. And the people, our partners in the University Health Services, have told me over and over again how vital the support of athletics in getting the testing off the ground and maintaining it, not only with the work that they're doing, but I would say with the mindset and the attitude with which they've approached that work. One of our great partners said to me, the people in athletics are joy spreaders, and we're so grateful with how they just dug in to help solve problems. Also, lots of work to return to activity, lots of work to changing landscapes for coaches, figuring out how to manage practices. So lots of teamwork going into what we've been doing, and I'm just really super proud of everyone within our community, and I know you guys would be too. So the last thing I'll say is that none of this could be possible without everyone on this call. So for that, I really just want to say thank you. Thank you for continuing to care, continuing to support us when the games have stopped. We love to win, and winning definitely matters for so many reasons. But there is so much more to Princeton athletics, and I think you all know that. If nothing else, we're even more committed than ever to our mission of building leaders and building community through athletics. So the ecosystem is strong, and as I like to say, we got this. So with those remarks, I'm going to let you hear from the true stars, both coaches and student athletes, with a video that we have here. And as a little side note, just check out Coach Fogarty's moves. He's still got it. So
it was a reset for me on thinking about the importance of time spent with the people that are closest to me and that support me and my own family. And then I started to realize this is also a reset, and not necessarily coaching philosophy, but in the things that matter the most. Bringing joy to what you do, showing your joy, showing vulnerability to your team, loving them, appreciating them on a day-to-day basis. I started to feel that way in the summer, and I was like, just give me that chance to see all of them again. That's really, we're not playing right now, but we are together, and I'm so thankful every day that I'm getting a chance to do this, getting a chance to finally, sort of what you feel is your calling on the court with the guys.
I think this time has been an opportunity for them to really understand how important the team and training and track and field is to them, because they each had to make an individual decision on a daily basis, whether they were going to train, how intense they were going to be about it. And, I've been impressed with how fit they are coming back. So it just says to me how important the team is and this experience is to them.
Our sport is such a grind. It requires so much time. It requires so much sacrifice and effort. And, I think when you're immersed in that, you just go and you don't think about it. And we're coming out of this period of time with a whole lot of perspective and a whole lot of hunger, and we can't wait to see that translate into what we do in the pool. And for the group that's already here back on campus, we can already see it, and they're excited to be coached. They're excited for feedback. They're excited for the small wins.
So the pause really gave myself an opportunity to speak to our players, to see what they wanted to change within the program that can better put us to a better spot during the regular season for years to come. So it was great, just to spend 2 or 3 weeks speaking to each guy on separate days and getting to know more about them. And we learned a lot to what we need to do to change, not to be different, but change to be better. And that's what we're going to start implementing here very soon. We have actually in our practices that we've had at Baker Rink with our players and pods. But it was important, to keep progressing forward.
It's fantastic to be back, and the kids feel it too. There's so much enthusiasm. There's so much desire to just be out there, to be connected with other people. Yeah, the attitudes, the enthusiasm, the energy has been fantastic, and here we are in our third week, and it's still very high, and we're just looking forward to continuing to build on this, and especially for the young kids.
The first workout, I was nervous. But seeing the guys come into the gym with masks on after close to 11 months felt like Superman's bizarro world. It was so strange. By the end of the workout, it just felt like the greatest gift of all time. It felt like hard to describe, but I was on cloud nine, and I think the guys were too by the end of 30 minutes. I've never appreciated just the simple fact of being allowed to do something that we had always done.
When you're in the grind and you're immersed in that, and you're competing all the time and you're testing yourself, it can be scary to try new things. It can be scary to go up and compete against somebody and risk. And this is one of those moments in time that our sport just hasn't had, where we can put that stuff aside and we can say, hey, here's a skill set. Let's break down this skill set, give you an opportunity for acquisition, put a little bit of stress on that skill once we see that you have some fluency in it, and then build up that process appropriately until it becomes a habit. And so I think one of the things that we've talked about with our student athletes is, let's come out of this period of time with elite skill sets.
The best part about being back is just being around the players. I've coached now for 25 years in different capacities, and really miss just being around players and working with them and teaching them and helping them achieve their athletic and academic goals.
In the last 10 months, we have had so much dialogue with our friends group. We've had so much dialogue with our alums, people checking in, seeing how the student athletes are doing. I think people who've done this before as student athletes, they have such a great appreciation for the challenges that our student athletes have gone through in the last 10 months.
So much of who we are is the community, and how we gain strength and support from the people that come and watch us play and root us on to be the best versions of ourselves. So we cannot wait to be back together again with you, with our fans, with our support network, and to show you how much we appreciate that, and in person.
We really, again, appreciate Coach Henderson, Coach Fogarty, Coach Eisenreich, and Coach Lundgaard sharing truly their authentic remarks with us. I think what jumps off the pages is how excited they are to be back with their student athletes doing what they love, and those sports being so core to who they all are as part of their identity. So with that, we would like to transition over to our PNC Student Athlete Achiever Awards for this winter season. We have two incredible seniors. I'll add the caveat that both are back with us on campus, training with their teams, continuing to lead and continuing to dominate in workouts from what we understand. But absolutely thrilled to recognize them and hear from them here shortly. This is our 6th year of this award, partnering with PNC Bank. We continue to be grateful and appreciative of their partnership and providing us this platform to truly recognize student athletes that are achieving in all walks of their undergraduate life. This winter's recipients are seniors Carly Littlefield from women's basketball and senior Matt Marquardt of our men's swimming and diving program. Let's learn a little bit more about our two Achiever Award recipients.
A senior captain, 2-time first-team All-Ivy honoree, and 1,000-point scorer, Carly Littlefield helped lead Princeton women's basketball to Ivy League championships in each of her first 3 years on campus. Off the court, Littlefield serves as president of the Varsity Student Athlete Advisory Council, where she recently led efforts to deliver Valentines to patients at St. Jude Children's Hospital. Earlier this year, she organized a team-wide free throw challenge that raised over $13,000 for I Am Trenton, a local nonprofit serving the Trenton community. Additionally, Littlefield has previously served as a Coach for College participant and the Iowa State Director for Princeton's Vote 100 campaign. For her efforts, Littlefield was recently recognized as the NJAI-AW Princeton Woman of the Year. Littlefield is an economics major from Waukee, Iowa. Matthew Marquardt is a senior on the men's swimming and diving team, specializing in the backstroke and butterfly. In 2019, Marquardt became the first Princetonian to receive the Slavin Fellowship for Entrepreneurship, while also being honored at Princeton Research Day for his work on solar-powered windows. He's led numerous research studies on campus related to student sleep habits, and worked with Princeton Tiger Performance to help student-athletes leverage sleep to maximize performance. Marquardt recently completed a 20-day solo cross-country bike ride, which raised over $13,000 in support of St. Jude Children's Hospital and pediatric cancer research. From Cincinnati, Ohio, Marquardt is a chemistry major pursuing certificates in entrepreneurship, material science, and engineering. He plans to pursue med school after Princeton. Thank you, PNC Bank, for your continued support of Princeton athletics and our student-athlete achievers.
Guys, those are pretty cool videos. I said to you guys before, I'm going to use the joke again, but this award is now going to be called the Overachiever Award, because those accolades and the things you guys have done are pretty remarkable. Carly, I was a little disappointed that on your video they didn't say that you were the winner of the trick shot contest, or at least several of the categories of the trick shot contest. Those were pretty. I haven't spoken to you since then. Those were pretty amazing moves you had. So congrats on that win as well. But guys, those are like, this is a really important award for us, and you guys are more deserving than, obviously than you can imagine. I wanted to just ask you both, maybe I'll start with you, Matthew, why has service been so important to you? We obviously talk about achieve, serve, lead all the time, but you've really done it all. But I wanted to specifically focus on your service initiatives.
Yeah, thanks so much, Molly. It's quite an honor to be given this award. And I would say there are kind of two main things for me. First being, it's an incredible privilege to be a student here at Princeton, and even more of a privilege to be an athlete. And so I've always kind of tried to make the most of that and really not waste that opportunity to give back to the world. And I think part of this kind of desire had really been instilled within me by Matt and Doug, who have really kind of preached servant leadership. And on our team, kind of one of our 5 team values is selflessness and putting others above yourself. And so it's really kind of always been my goal to kind of give back to the team more than I take, so that it's in a better spot than when I first started here.
Awesome. Well, great job riding across the country. I understand that you were supposed to do it in 23 days, but again, being that overachiever, you actually did it in 20 days. Is that true?
Yeah, my body did a lot better than I was expecting, and when you're given an opportunity, might as well take it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Pretty remarkable. Thank you for your service and for everything you've done. You also have, the sleep initiative that you've put forward is remarkable. You and I have spoken about it, and I know we just decided you're going to do a little talk for us coming up during the spring break period. Just maybe 1 second on that, just in terms of, your passion about sleep and how sleep, getting the right sleep leads to peak performance.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with a sleep disorder during my sophomore year, and that really kind of, pardon the pun, but woke me up to the importance of getting good sleep. And once I kind of dialed it in and was able to really understand the benefits myself, I just couldn't help myself but try and spread that knowledge to my peers and help them get better sleep, because your quality of life improves, your performance in the pool, on the court, wherever, improves. And so I just think it's something that I really want to try and spread to as many people and help everyone else understand the benefits of a good night's sleep.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And it really, it makes a big difference, and your leadership on that is critical. So Carly, I want to turn it over to you and a little bit on service, but also on leadership. I mean, I've known you obviously now for 4 years, and I've seen you grow in so many different ways as a leader, not only on the court. I remember watching you play the first time a number of years ago, and I was like, oh my God, this woman is amazing. And she's got the so what, she's talented, but she's got that grit and determination, and is leading her team on the court. So maybe talk a little bit about service, but also about leadership and sort of how you've grown as a leader over these 4 years on the court, but also with VSAC and with all the other initiatives that you've put forward.
Yeah, thank you, Molly. And this is an honor to receive this award. But I think a really special thing about Princeton, and Princeton athletics in particular, is that it provides student athletes with so many different opportunities to lead and serve in our own authentic ways. And so I really think that leadership goes hand in hand with service. So it's great that you told me to put these two together, because leadership to me means selflessly supporting others and helping them become the best they can be. And so, like you kind of said, I kind of first found my voice on the court because from day one on campus, my captains and older teammates showed me what being a leader was, first on the court. And then just off the court, I have felt so much support during my time here to grow as a person and a leader, from everybody from faculty to professors to alumni to my coaches and to my teammates. So this has just really compelled me to help others reach their full potential as I've been helped. And I just love this place. I love being a Tiger. So I also just want to help Princeton become the best it can be.
Awesome. Well, you've both been tremendous examples of achieving athletically and academically. You're both tremendous students and achieving and serving. So really just congratulations. I think we're going to go, we're going to flip it over to some of our partners at PNC, but I just wanted to just say thank you to them. I mean, PNC has been such a tremendous partner to us. I always say that one of the most important things in life is picking your teammates, right? You got to pick your teammates wisely, because teammates are, as Frank Sawinski, who's the president of the PVC, likes to say, teammates are forever. And our values are very much aligned with PNC's. They believe in achieving, serving, and leading. And I've just loved working with them over the years, and really grateful that they've put together this award to be able to honor and congratulate and sort of, put the students like you guys front and center for us. So I'm going to turn it over to our partners at PNC, Ryan Gates, who's our client and community relations director, and Enrico Della Corna, who is the regional president of PNC Bank. And really just, again, thank you to them. And we're going to hear a little bit, and they're going to congratulate you guys. And so I'll flip it to them.
Thank you, Molly. Once again, my name is Ryan Gates, new client and community relations director for PNC Bank here in New Jersey, here with Enrico Della Corna, new regional president for New Jersey. Just want to reiterate, the Princeton and PNC relationship is extremely important to us. The university is known for its great values, where the students achieve, serve, and lead. The Princeton student athletes embody these ideals, and the PNC Achiever, it's a very meaningful program across our footprint. And to read about Carly and Matthew, it's easy to see why this relationship and the PNC Achiever program is so important to us. You've got Carly, women's basketball team captain, who got the charge to raise $13,000 for a Trenton nonprofit, spearheading that effort from her hometown in Iowa during these difficult times. And then Matthew from men's swimming and diving, who's already been accepted into multiple medical schools. He also raised $13,000 with a solo bike ride across America, raising his funds for pediatric cancer. Carly and Matthew, and the long history of great student athletes from Princeton, are leaders and wonderful representatives of the entire Princeton community and the Princeton Athletic Department.
Thank you, Ryan and Molly. Carly and Matthew, let me add my heartfelt congratulations to you both. We are so proud to recognize you as this year's PNC Bank Student Athlete Achiever Award recipients.
Thank you, Ryan, Enrico, and all of our friends at PNC. We, like Molly said, we truly do appreciate your continued investment in Princeton athletics and in our student athletes. And congratulations again to Carly and Matthew. Both of you have had incredible careers here at Princeton and made such an impact not only on your team and our athletic department, but on the university as a whole. With that, we'd like to welcome our other three student athlete panelists to the screen, Sumunga, Jen, and Grace. We look forward to some great conversation here, and I will hand it over to Molly to get us going with introductions here in a moment.
All right. Well, this is, everyone knows this is like my favorite thing to do. Not only doing the podcast, as I mentioned before, but getting to interview amazing student athletes like you guys. So maybe just to start, I'm going to have each of you introduce yourselves, sort of talk about where you're from, what you're studying, sort of, what you, just your athletic, what team you're on, and just introduce yourselves. So maybe I'll start with you, Grace.
Okay. Hi, I'm Grace Stone. I'm in the class of 2023. I'm on the women's basketball team. I'm majoring in African American Studies, and I'm from Long Island, New York, so not too far from Princeton. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. All right. Maybe we will go to Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen Seacrest. I'm also a sophomore on the swim team. I'm from South Florida and currently here on campus, which has been very exciting. And I'm studying computer science, thinking about a certificate in statistics and machine learning.
All right, Sumunga.
Hi, my name is Simanga Ndlovu. I'm a junior majoring in architecture, and I'm on the men's track and field team. And yeah, I'm from Zambia.
All right. Let's get started. Samanga, I'm going to start with you. So you are on the men's track team, as you said, and you guys, sort of, I guess, just define achieving, right? In all of your years, you've at least won multiple Ivy League championships. What does achieving mean to you, and how have you focused on achieving personally, but also as a team?
I think for me personally, it means doing the best that I can in everything that I decide to pursue. And I think that's the same for my teammates and I. We look at ourselves when we go down to practice, and we think that we can win. And when we go down to championships, we really go out there and concentrate and compete.
Awesome. So you were chosen as a team captain for this year. How have you worked to, sort of keep the team engaged and inspired? You're obviously on campus, but you had to do a lot of leadership while you were virtual in the fall semester. Maybe talk to us about kind of what training looks like right now, how you're leading your team, and anything else you want to share about the experience on campus right now.
Yeah, I would say that, well, being a leader would start by being a friend. I think I've really tried to reach out to a lot of people on the team and see how they've been training. And with regards to training on campus, we have a pretty small group, but it's good to have everyone back, and it's really good to see the fire in everyone.
Yeah, I understand that you guys are just really going at it, and Coach Samara tells me, and Coach Vigilante tells me, and Coach Abdullah says that you guys are as motivated as you've ever been, and that you're getting better every day, and that they've been so excited to see you all training. So Jen, I'm going to turn it to you. So you have also you were named a team captain as a sophomore this year. What does that honor mean to you? And, how have you tried to lead during this kind of unusual and certainly challenging year?
Of course. Yeah, no, I was extremely, extremely honored to be named captain. That's definitely, I would say, my greatest accomplishment. And I just think that the most important thing throughout this time has been leading by example. It's very difficult to, obviously there are a lot of challenges presented with having a team spread out all throughout the world, having to do everything virtually. And I think that just actually doing what you preach is very important. We've been trying to do a lot to stay connected and to still be motivated throughout this time, because obviously it can be difficult when you're separated from your team, since such team is such a large factor in why you compete and why you want to do well, because you're part of something bigger than yourself. So just keeping that athletic connection and personal connections and everything has been very important during this time.
Have there been any ways that you have stayed motivated yourself, obviously before you got back to campus, but then now being back on campus? Are there specific things that you do differently than you did before, or sort of how are you finding that internal motivation?
Yeah, so I think one thing that's been pretty important during this time is it's allowed people to reflect and sort of think back to why they got into their sport in the first place, why I got into swimming in the first place, because obviously last year, it was such an exciting year and we had such big goals, and you're just sort of going for it all the time. And I feel like you don't necessarily think about that kind of stuff when you're just in that team atmosphere and grinding all the time. So that's been something that's definitely, I think a lot of people have taken advantage of during this time. I actually was able to train with a lot of my teammates in Virginia Beach last semester. So that was definitely a big help to have a lot of people there just to, remind me of the team and our goals and to motivate me. And then even just being back on campus is a whole entire different level. I forgot how easy it was to push yourself so hard when you're surrounded by ladies who are just as motivated and passionate and have the same goals as you. So honestly, just when surrounded by your team or trying to be connected to your team, it's so much easier to be motivated.
That's great. So have you gotten faster? Still early in the year, but I don't want to put the pressure on you, but I'm sure you have.
Definitely been improving since I've got here, yes.
Okay,
no, it's
awesome.
been really great.
Great, good. So Grace, during this year, obviously you're taking the year off, and we've spoken more. I think I've spoken with you probably more than any student athlete this year, and it's been amazing to get to know you more and to see you lead, because you've helped start the Black Student Athlete Collective. So Grace, talk a little bit about the Black Student Athlete Collective, and then talk about, specifically how you've gotten your voice as a leader. And you've been an amazing basketball player since the minute you stepped on campus, but you're really leading in a really impressive way. And I've just been so grateful for everything you've been doing.
Yeah, Molly and I have become best friends. It seems like we've been talking all the time.
Yes.
This has been a really crazy year. I think that for me, this not being in school, not being able to see my team, it's been incredibly difficult. But after the events of last summer, I felt that there was a need for Black student athletes to be in community. I think that it's tough for us to kind of find our voices because we're always focused on, what's at hand, our team, our seasons. And I think that similar to what Jen said, this time gave us a moment to reflect on our experience at Princeton and what we wanted to see and how we could make it better. And with that, I felt that BSAC was a way, allow me and other Black student athletes to be our whole selves, as I've said a bunch of times, be in community with each other, but, also be allowed to have our full identities seen by our teammates and the department. And so I just felt a need for that. And so I spoke up, and it's not something I've normally done, but I think that I found my voice first in basketball, and I was able to be a leader within my team, within the program. And with the support from my teammates and my coaches, I felt that, if I'm a leader in basketball, if you decide to be a leader, you're a leader in everything that you do. And I think that that was important for me, and that, this work is much needed, and that, leadership is consistent work over time. And so while it hasn't always been easy, I think that it's completely necessary. And I felt so much support from my teammates. I've felt so much support from my coaches and, the department as a whole. So it's been a crazy year, but very rewarding one.
Yeah, no, you have defined sort of making the best of sort of a challenging situation. I'm just going to stay with you for a second. Do you mentioned it, and you kind of answered the question before I even got to answer it, or to ask it. But in terms of the confidence that you gained through being a great athlete and being a leader on your team, do you think that has led you to be able to lead in other areas of your life? I mean, you sort of articulated that. But I'm always fascinated and always very interested in on that confidence, the importance of confidence in leadership. And do you think that's been true for you?
Yeah, 100%. I think that basketball is my safe place. And I think my team and my coaches, they're my safe place. And it's okay to fail with them. And I think that for me, that's been a major thing for me to have the confidence to speak up. I think that over the course of this year, you're going to not say the right thing all the time, or you're going to mess up sometimes. And that's the case in our sports and in our lives. And I think that knowing that they have my back has been extremely important for me. This is not a position I've ever found myself in, starting a group on campus, being a leader of that group. But I think that I've been able to fail through it because I've had the support of my teammates and my coaches and other members of BSAC. And because of that, I've been able to kind of figure it out as I go. And so that's been really important for me in finding, my voice and how to help other Black student athletes on campus have and find theirs.
Yeah, that's incredible. I don't know, Brendan, am I coming? Okay, there I go. I'm back. And really, the work that you're doing and the other members of BSAC are making a difference. And it's going to make, as I said initially, it's going to make Princeton athletics better. And so thank you for that leadership and that service. So Manga, I'm going to turn it back to you. Talk about how you first became aware of Princeton track and field. Obviously, growing up in Swaziland and Zambia, how'd you hear about Princeton and how'd you get here?
So initially I just wanted to run track at a professional level. And I looked at the collegiate system and I was like, well, this is a good system that could eventually lead to me running professionally. So I applied to a bunch of schools, and Princeton was one of the schools that I ended up applying to.
So how did Coach Samara hear about you?
So actually, it's a funny story. My college counselor had reached out to Coach Abdullah, and he was one of the few guys that responded back to our emails. And from there, we started to talk. He saw my videos, he saw my times, and then spoke to my parents, and the rest is history.
All right. So one more question for you. So you've spent the last few months assisting Professor Bressler with her research into design and materiality. Can you tell us about that work? You're obviously an architecture major, and what drew you to architecture, and sort of what have you specifically been working on?
Yeah, so my dad is actually an architect, so I would say that's what drew me to architecture. And as for the research project, it was a summer. It happened during the summer, and basically what it was is that we were trying to understand what or how architects kind of use different 3D forms for design. And basically what we found out is that a lot of these architects would print like giant mock-up models and just throw them to waste. And we thought that wasn't really good because of environmental waste. So Professor Bessler, I helped Professor Bessler kind of conduct the research, and she ended up writing an article.
Wow, that's great. So you made the best of that experience for sure. Do you get home to Zambia much, or are you able to go back and forth, or when has the last time you've been home?
I actually went back home in December during winter break. I previously hadn't seen my family for about 1.5 years.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you're able to get home. And thanks for that. That sounds like really rewarding work that you've done over this year. And again, making the best of this situation for sure. So Jen, you are concentrating in computer science with a certificate in statistics and machine learning. So tell us about your career aspirations. Sort of how do you plan on using that? And do you have an idea of what you want to do after you leave Princeton?
Of course. Yeah, I initially got into computer science because my high school actually offered 4 years of it, which was pretty unique. But yeah, I just ended up loving it throughout the 4 years, figured I'd continue it. I just think that there are so many fascinating parts of the field. I'm not sure exactly which path I would want to take yet, but just exploring the field, it's constantly changing, rapidly improving, which would be very, very cool to be a part of. At this point, just thinking of jobs, maybe in the big tech companies, or even as my certificate indicates, I'm interested in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And then, just moving up maybe at some point, of course, to like some sort of management position where I do get to practice leadership and have, interpersonal connections and stuff like that.
Well, there's no doubt that you will be a leader. You're a leader now, and you'll continue to grow from this experience for sure. I understand that you taught some computer science classes virtually over the summer. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. So I taught COAST 126, which is the introductory course here, to students at the University of Puerto Rico. And that was an extremely cool experience, just getting to meet them and get to know them. Our classes were pretty small, so I got to know them on a pretty individual level, which was very cool, hosting office hours and all of that. And then it was sort of an extension of that. It's a different job, but very similar. Throughout this past semester was a facilitator for the course here at Princeton. So that was more just like leading the lab sessions within the course. But yeah, just being able to, obviously it helped me just, with the foundation of computer science, having to know those topics as well as you do to actually teach them was a really great experience academic wise. But just, learning how to lead a class, how to lead virtually was very important. And those skills definitely translated into leading virtually as a captain. It was just a really great experience and a really enjoyable one.
Good. Awesome. That's terrific. So Grace, you have obviously, as I said, you're on a leave this year. What other things have you been doing other than starting BSAC and obviously engaging with your team and continuing, I'm sure, to get better at basketball? But what other things have you been doing throughout the course of this year?
I've been doing a few things, trying to stay busy, along with working out, of course. In the fall, I was a legal intern for ABIS, which stands for Athletic Blacks in Sports. And it's an organization that works to uplift and engage Black athletes at the collegiate level and the professional level. And that was a great experience for me, just learning from a bunch of different researchers, people who are leaders in their fields. That was a really awesome experience for me. I was also a part of a project called Poll Hero, which got young people to work the polls, which was very much needed in this past election. And beyond that, I worked as a waitress as well to get some money. And that's been an interesting experience as well. But yeah, I've done everything I could to keep myself busy and engaged.
Did you get some good tips along the way? Have you been getting some decent tips being a waitress, or?
Yeah, I'm a cater waitress, so
okay.
we work events. Really good tips. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now this is a really important question. Do you think that Carly deserved to win the trick shot? And by the way, did you see my move? Did you see did you watch the trick shot contest, and did you see my great shot?
So I only watched like my team's entries for the trick shot contest. I didn't see yours, unfortunately.
I'm going to send it to you because it was I had a little help from my friends in multimedia. Let's just say that. It might have not been an authentic real shot. I have Cody in the other room here, and he can attest to that maybe I had some assistance with that.
Gotcha. I think Carly definitely should have won. Pretty sure Coach Bruby missed some stuff there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Abby had a pretty amazing shot though too.
Yeah. Our team really came to win.
Awesome. Good. Well, I think we're probably at our time here. You guys have all been incredible. Again, achieving, serving, leading. I love that mindset and the perspective that you have all had in making the very best of this year and actually growing from it. Each one of you has shown just so specifically how mindset and perspective and being really committed to growth has benefited you, and it's really benefited our whole department, your teams, and the whole department. So I want to thank you guys for that. I want to thank you for all you've done. And I think, Brendan, I'll turn it over to you to close us out, and we'll go from there.
Munga, Grace, and Jen, really appreciated you guys sharing your stories with us today. And I know that I speak for everyone in saying that we cannot wait to watch you guys compete again for the black and orange. We know that in the meantime, having you as the team leaders, everyone's in good hands until that time comes. That wraps our program for today. We really appreciate everyone tuning in, and really want to thank everyone on the opposite side of my screen for hanging with us and supporting us through this year. We cannot wait to be back in person with all of you. I'm really looking forward to that day. And in the meantime, want everyone to take care and go Tigers.